Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
China retaliates the new tariffs aimed at the U.S. that were announced at midnight and which products it affects.
And our temperatures are mild. As a matter of fact, this afternoon, we could see near record high temperatures. I'll show you why that won't last too long.
And top priorities for school leaders. The votes happening today on issues like teacher pay at Wake schools. A lot to tell you about here on this Tuesday morning, and we're going to continue with the warmth, at least for one more day. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, great to have you along. Welcome back. And you had a nice long birthday weekend. It's
Thank
nice to see you.
Yes, now I'm a year older. Look at that. Can you tell?
No.
Can you tell?
No, don't look a
Good
day
answer.
or a minute.
Good
Not
answer.
even close.
You've been trained well. But the weather was fabulous.
I know, we're going to get a
yeah.
record here possibly today. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRS Severe Weather Center right now. We're sitting at 50. Pretty good.
I think Renee looks a year younger as well.
Right? I would go with that.
Thank you.
It's a nice morning out there. Skies are mainly clear. Yesterday we were dealing with some patchy fog, and it wouldn't be out of the question to see that, but nothing is happening right now, and it shouldn't be as widespread as it was yesterday. Here in Chapel Hill, we're clear at 50 degrees. We have a southwest wind. That southwest wind is really going to warm things up rapidly. It's a mild start this morning. Temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50. At lunchtime, 67, and we'll see a high of 76. That 76 will tie our previous record. Now, tomorrow you're going to think that you packed up and took a trip to Seattle. We're going to see a huge change, and I'm going to show you why that is and why it may only last for one day coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. We're following breaking news. China retaliated immediately after a 10% U.S. tariff on Chinese goods went into effect at midnight. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from the Village District in Raleigh. And Laura, China announced its own levies of 10 to 15% on some U.S. products.
Renee, this is breaking news that we're following overnight here in the Village District. We know that a lot of the products as consumers we buy from local shops like these come from China. And the question this morning is, how is this going to affect our pockets here locally? Well, we know that the country is now slamming back against the U.S. with these countermeasures after Trump's 10% tariffs went into effect at midnight. A lot of the tariffs impacting many American goods. Now, China's finance ministry says it will impose tariffs of 15% for U.S. coal and liquid natural gas and 10% for crude oil, farm equipment, agriculture, machinery, and large engine cars imported from the U.S. In a statement, the Chinese finance ministry said the U.S. tariffs severely violate World Trade Organization rules and not only fail to address America's own problems, but also disrupt normal economic and trade cooperation between China and the United States. So in addition, China's State Administration for Market Regulation also said it is investigating Google on suspicion of violating antitrust laws. All of this new overnight that we will continue to follow, working right now to understand and unravel how this could impact our local economy. We know that these tariffs are slated to take effect on February 10th. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Europe, meantime, is bracing for a potential trade showdown with the U.S. The president of the European Commission says she wants to start negotiating with the U.S. early. Trump has said the European Union will be another target for tariffs. He claims the EU has really taken advantage of us. His quote.
Today, Wake County school leaders will vote on their top priorities for lawmakers in Raleigh. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from Wake School headquarters in Cary. And Kelsey, the board will vote on issues like teacher pay and school calendars.
Yesterday, the board will meet here at Wake School headquarters to discuss these things, and they have three main priorities: increasing teacher pay, special education funding, and making changes to the school calendar. So we'll talk about increasing teacher pay first. That is a common ask usually every year, but they also want to increase their funding for special education. Right now, students with mild disabilities as well as more severe disabilities are funded at the same rate of pay. Now, that's something that state officials and also school officials on a more local level are looking to change. And this year, school leaders are requesting to start the school year earlier in August.
They want to be able to finish exams before Christmas break, before students kind of have a chance to forget things. They want to be able to align with community colleges since more and more high school students are taking community college classes.
So we'll be sure to keep you updated on what comes out of this meeting that's scheduled for later this afternoon. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, Live in Cary.
And new this morning, a man is seriously hurt after a shooting in Goldsboro. Officers responded to Madison Avenue just after 10 last night after getting a shot spotter alert. They found a man who had been shot. The man was taken to UNC Health Wayne and later was taken to ECU Medical. Police say they have substantial leads toward making an arrest in the case.
A 2-year-old boy is recovering after he was shot in the leg in Durham. This happened at the Oxford Manor housing complex on Wiggins Street just before 4 yesterday afternoon. The boy's aunt says he was playing on the sidewalk in front of the home when someone started shooting. One of the bullets hit him in the leg. The aunt says he was released from the hospital last night and is recovering at home. Police have not said if they know who the target of the shooting was.
Durham's mayor addressed the shooting during a city council meeting. He says no matter how many important issues are on the agenda, the safety of children is most important.
So as we come together for a myriad of reasons, just think about that 2-year-old baby and the environment that they are growing up in. And I'm not afraid to say I care about all these things, but that is always going to be my #1 priority.
And Williams implored everyone who was in attendance at that meeting to take care of each other and their community.
Raleigh City Council meets this afternoon. They will discuss topics including a new regional call center for transit, additional funding for the Lake Wheeler Road project, and grant funding for the city's e-bike program. The meeting gets started at 1 this afternoon.
President Donald Trump says Elon Musk has clearance to get inside sensitive government computers, including the Treasury Department's payment system. Musk is working with Trump to overhaul government agencies. They say the goal is to slash spending. White House says Musk is designated as a special government employee with top secret security clearance.
Elon can't do and won't do anything without our approval, and we'll give him the approval where appropriate. Where not appropriate, we won't.
One of Musk's top targets is the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. It delivers food, medicine, vaccinations, and humanitarian support to 60 countries. Musk says there's too much waste in its $42 billion budget.
Governor Josh Stein is calling for state lawmakers to double what they've spent so far to help Helene survivors in western North Carolina. To date, state lawmakers have earmarked just under $1 billion for Helene relief. They say they want to see what federal help, they want to wait to see what federal help the state will get before they spend more. Stein is calling on them to spend another $1 billion in the very near future. He says the families and businesses that survived the storm can't afford to wait any longer.
This recovery is going to take a long time, and my administration is in this for the long haul. I know that the legislature is as well. I thank the General Assembly for what it has done so far, but now is the time for us to jumpstart this rebuilding effort.
State lawmakers say weeks ago that Helene relief would be one of their top priorities, but they haven't taken action so far this year. The state is expected to receive more than $15 billion in federal aid. However, as in past storms, that money is moving slowly through the system. Damages from the storm are estimated at nearly $60 billion.
The Johnston County School Board will hold a special meeting today to talk about who will fill the seat vacated by Ronald Johnson. Johnson was found guilty last month of extortion and other crimes. Testimony in the trial included sexual affairs with Johnston County school employees, as well as other accusations. A judge sentenced him to at least 6 months in jail. Johnson was also kicked off the school board. The board will meet at 9:30 this morning to review applications and interview candidates.
Football and brain health, the long-term impacts, especially among black men.
Preventing the injury is the place that we want to be.
The local efforts working to keep athletes safe before and after they hit the field.
Orders from the judge, the guidelines set for the lawyers of actors Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively as their legal feud heats up.
And this is a live look at Apex right now. 2 rounds of near record warmth this week. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will tell us about the one day that will have you grabbing jackets in between.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
442, taking a live look at what's happening outside right now. Mostly clear, a little breezy here in Wilson. Some of that wind is probably going to keep us from having as much fog as we saw yesterday. 51 in Wilson, 50 in Durham, 52 in Fayetteville. So it is a mild start. And because we're starting warmer, it will be easier to see those really warm temperatures this afternoon. As we climb on up into the mid 70s, we're going to be close to record highs. Top of the tower lit in blue this morning for clear skies, which is what we're seeing right now. That changes, we'll let you know. But definitely looking at comfortable morning temperatures there at around 50 degrees heading out the door. So maybe just a jacket instead of a big coat when you're walking the dog this morning. And again, this afternoon, really, really warm. I'll show you why tomorrow will look almost exactly the opposite coming up.
Marines from our state left for Guantanamo Bay to help with the president's new plan to detain migrants there. The troops left Cherry Point Sunday. Their mission is to support the Defense Department's new role in President Trump's immigration crackdown. Migrants who enter the country illegally could now be shipped to Guantanamo Bay, where they're accused of whether they're accused of violent crimes or not. Now, Marines we talked to say they'll serve where called.
This is what we train for. At a moment's notice, we get the call. Like I said, we were in the field training for something like this, and it happened. We stay ready, and we're ready to go, and here we are.
Eventually, we knew we'd get that call. That call came down, so here we are getting ready to do the job.
Guantanamo has traditionally been used to house detainees suspected of contributing to the 9/11 attacks on the United States or other international terrorist attacks.
As we gear up for Super Bowl 59 this Sunday, airing on Fox 50, Duke researchers are calling attention to the long-term impacts of brain injuries from football on athletes, particularly black males. According to the Alzheimer's Association, black men are 2 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's or other dementia. The Duke Sports Performance Initiative is working to reduce risk by educating athletes at younger ages on signs and symptoms of concussions or other brain injuries. One sports medicine physician shares community involvement is key.
These athletes now, in their 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, all of us have seen these YouTube videos and everything else of them hitting each other, very hard. So some of them are getting these issues at an early age. So the earlier you get to them, the better they are.
The effort also helps athletes manage their mental well-being with mental health screenings.
After officially stepping down as U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of North Carolina, we talked with Michael Easley Jr. about his biggest accomplishments in office. He said some of those accomplishments included driving down violent crime, white-collar prosecutions, and getting drugs and guns off the streets. He created a violent crime action plan in 2021 and prosecuted more than 850 people for firearms offenses and took more than 750 guns off the streets.
We took a new approach. It was focused not just on any old guy with a gun. We were focused on shooters, a laser-like focus on the people that we knew were driving the most dangerous violence. We also focused on organizational targets, the gangs, the criminal enterprises.
And Easley was nominated by former President Joe Biden in 2021. He says he is planning his next opportunities. For the time being, he will be a full-time dad.
The judge presiding over the feud between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni will not restrict what the lawyers can say about the case publicly for now. He says he might move up the trial date if the war of words between the actors' representatives drags on. The judge issued the warning yesterday at a pretrial hearing in New York City. Lively has accused Baldoni of sexual harassment. She also says Baldoni has tried to retaliate against her. Baldoni has denied all accusations and has filed his own suit. He's accused Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, of extortion, defamation, and invasion of privacy. The trial is set to begin in March of 2026.
Today in Durham County, there's planning for a new 26-mile trail network. The new trail would replace an inactive rail line and also connect schools, neighborhoods, and community centers between Durham and Roxborough. You can provide input on the new plan tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Durham County Main Library or tomorrow from 6 to 7:30 at the Durham North Regional Library.
UNC Chapel Hill launched a new initiative to address student mental health. The university installed 2 types of HOPE signs. Crisis intervention signs provide immediate access to crisis resources, and the HOPE signs encourage a culture of compassion and care.
Seems clear and comfortable out there right now. 4:48 on our Tuesday morning. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, and we are going to warm up today.
I hope we have a gorgeous day in our forecast. Yesterday, we had some patchy fog, and it wouldn't be completely out of the question to see that, but it's not going to be widespread like it was yesterday. Nice and clear here in downtown Cary. Taking a look over the park this morning, temperature 50 degrees, so we are nice and warm. Our normal low temperature this time of year is still in the 30s, so this is well above normal, and our afternoon highs will be well above normal as well. We take a look at our current temperature, 53 in Southern Pines, 50 in Goldsboro, 55 in South Hill. So everybody's seeing these warm temperatures, mainly in the low 50s. Time for our photo of the day. Sean Whiteside from Rolesville sent us this one. The sun is there at the top of the screen, and it's shining through these clouds that are made up of ice crystals, and it creates this rainbow effect. It almost looks like the ocean with the rippling clouds there. Really neat photo. Thanks for sending us that one. Go to WRAL.com/report it. We would love to see what's happening in your backyard. Here's what's happening in your backyard. Today is going to feel like spring. Tomorrow is going to feel like winter with a high of 49 versus 76 for it today. 76 in Raleigh, 75 Durham, 78 in Fayetteville. Very warm, nice, dry, sunny day. We have several days that are likely to be close to records. Today we could tie the record at 76. On Thursday we'll see a high of 71, but the record is 77. We're a little closer to it on Sunday at 73 and the record 75. But what happens in between, you might feel is a little crazy, but it's actually pretty normal for North Carolina. This is tomorrow. We'll see mid-40s in the north, mid-50s down south, cloudy skies, and it will be drizzly. And that is all because of a front that's going to slide in just for one day, and then it's going to slide right back out. But it is going to bring us a very big cool down, as you can see. Let's talk about the other ups and downs in our forecast. For Thursday, we'll likely have the potential for a little bit of light patchy rain as well. So coming up in just a little bit, we're going to go over the timeline for those showers. We do see our temperature dip slightly on Saturday, but again, Sunday, it looks great. And then 50s on Monday. So it is a roller coaster ride.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Outlaws in the Triangle. Everything we know about the 10th annual Outlaw Music Festival Tour, including stops here in North Carolina.
And Buffy is back. Everything we know about the reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the cast. We are now inside of 60 days until the opening day at Five County Stadium, and the Carolina Mudcats are preparing for their last season that they will call Zebulon home. The town is looking for the stadium's next operator by putting out a request for proposals. And WRL's Heidi Kirk shows us what the future could look like.
Not many people remember Five County Stadium before it was home to the Carolina Mudcats.
I remember when there was a field out there.
That was 3 decades ago when Paul Costa moved to the area. He's been curious about what's next for the stadium after learning that the minor league baseball team will move to Wilson and rebrand as the Wilson Warbirds.
We talk about it every time. Wonder what's going to go. Wonder what's going to go.
Costa is one step closer to getting an answer as the town of Zebulon teams up with Wake County to accept proposals from new operators.
I think it's safe to say that Five County Stadium is one of the most valuable economic development resources in East Wake County.
Communications Director Caleb Harmon says investors have about a month to submit ideas for the stadium and the 52 acres of land it sits on. He says nothing is off limits.
The beauty of this stadium and the beauty of this site is that it has so many different uses and has in the past. Obviously, it's known for baseball, but we've seen concerts, festivals, marathons, and everything else held in this site. So we figure while we're dreaming, we might as well dream big.
While it's bittersweet to think of the Mudcats moving on, the town is hoping to hit another home run with what comes next.
Now, if you haven't had a chance to come out to Five County Stadium to catch a Mudcats baseball game, there's still one more season left here at this stadium. The first home game will be on Friday, April 4th. And then starting in 2026, the Wilson Warbirds will begin playing here at this new stadium in downtown Wilson. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News in Wilson.
Now, if you want to weigh in on the plan for Five County Stadium, the county is working on rolling out a public engagement campaign on its website, and we'll have a link to that on WRAL.com as soon as it's ready.
The Airborne and Special Operations Museum Foundation is launching a new challenge. It is an effort to fundraise ahead of the Fayetteville Museum's 25th anniversary. The Pritzker Military Foundation will match all donations up to $100,000 for 2 years. Funds raised will support the Museum Foundation's daily operations, including public programs, exhibits, and museum outreach.
Everyone's favorite vampire slayer is returning to TV. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Hulu is developing a reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Sarah Michelle Gellar is attached to the project, set to reprise her role as Buffy Summers. Sources say the show would focus on a younger Slayer, and Gellar would not be the central character in it. No release date has been revealed.
Today, ticket pre-sales begin for the Outlaw Music Festival. This year marks 10 years of the fest. Big names, including headliners Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan, will perform. The 10th anniversary tour has 2 stops in North Carolina. They will be July 26th at the PNC Music Pavilion in Charlotte and July 27th at Coastal Credit Union Music Park here in Raleigh. It is 4:56. Top priorities for weak schools. The meeting with lawmakers today, where school leaders will advocate for better teacher pay.
Meeting in Washington. What we know about Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's talks planned with President Trump today.
Super Bowl celebrations. Highlights from opening night as the countdown to the big game is on.
From Kansas City with the Chiefs on the stage.